Western Spring Television, ours it is.
All right, good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. You're welcome to Morning Spring today here on Western Spring Television. And this is where we talk about everything important, everything that you have to know, talking about issues of public importance. That's what we're looking to hear every day. And the station is Western Spring Television. The program is Morning Spring. Femi Ojo is my name. Thank you for joining us as well. And of course, I'm not alone every day. Just like Liverpool, never walk alone. Good morning, Evelyn.
Good morning, Femi.
I know you'll be happy with that.
You have a Liverpool fan right here seated this morning. And to all Liverpool fans out there,
yeah,
you'll never walk alone. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei, welcoming you on board to another edition of Morning Spring. It is the 100th day of the year. It was just like yesterday when we said Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Happy New Month.
Poco a poco, we are
little by
already
little,
in the 100th day. Welcome on board, and of course, happy holiday, especially to our Muslim faithfuls out there. You know, it's the end of Ramadan, and we pray that the blessings of this season will indeed rest with you, rest in your home, and all that you represent and own. Welcome on board once again.
All right, so many things happening that we will talk about in the course of the program, essentially about the power situation, the development in the power sector, and of course, there is this release from the Nigerian Police Osun Command about people getting, special breeds of dogs, and, it's okay to have pets, by the way, but getting them and not doing the needful with them, what do you have to know? What do you have to do? You have to be responsible when you get these, either as pets or either as security dogs, so that they don't get to attack the people and cause nuisance or cause harm, bodily injury, or in some case, death, because last year something like that happened here in Osun State. So we'll be speaking with, the police PRO in Osun State in the course of the program. But then development happening in the country, Philip Shaibo gone at this time. As far as the Edo State House of Assembly is concerned, is no more the deputy governor of Edo State. And as they say, nature abhors a vacuum. A 38-year-old has been nominated and sworn in very fastly right there in Edo State. Evelyn, it is what it is.
Well, a lot of people had already predicted something like this happening. It was supposed to happen last year, but with the intervention of elder statesmen and some other stakeholders in Edo State, that was brought down. But then with the primaries that took place and Philip Shaibo holding on to not conceding defeat, really pushed for this impeachment. But there again, we may want to ask, is this some sort of victimization? Did this actually go through the normal process? Because Philip Shaibo has actually said that this is a dent on our democracy, and his impeachment was all political. And, that excuse given by the State House of Assembly that he's been accused of perjury, of leaking states, government documents and all of that, that is just a smokescreen, that it's more political than what they are painting to the public. But then he wants to, take it up legally, and we will see what that actually brings in the coming days and weeks and months.
Ahead.
Yes, and of course we know that it's just the last days of the administration of Godwin Obaseki, as the governorship election is going to happen soon this year, and of course the swearing in is going to happen next year. But then we are hopeful as to peace, just everywhere being peaceful in Edo State. Of course, Obaseki, I beg your pardon, Police Shoaibu has also clamored for peace and told his supporters not to take laws into their hands.
It's good that he's saying that.
He is going to take it up legally. You understand? So I love the fact that he has been able to calm his supporters down. He has been able to, you know, speak peace to the residents in Edo State. But then it is what it is, and he is the 17th deputy governor to be impeached in the history of Nigeria, and that's what it is.
Mr. Marvelous or mobile, Abi?
Yes,
I'm reading that in my Yoruba tongue. I don't know if it's mobile or mobile.
Mobile.
Oh, mobile, okay. So that I don't get sued for Yorubanizing an Edo name. And of course, it was sworn in yesterday by the Chief Judge, Daniel Okungbowa there. Many persons will say, just a few months to go, why can't these two individuals just let it just slide, you know? But then it is what it is. Comrade Philip Shaibu ceases to be the deputy governor as it stands today. Many interesting takes about the way. We'll go on this break. When we'll come back, the papers are in, and you want to be a part of that. Interesting headlines, by the way. All right, talking about the headlines and what we have here today, a couple of them, and I will let you know: The Nation, The Vanguard, The Daily Trust, and The Punch newspaper. And let me start from what The Punch has for us. Banks get 3-month deadline to stop Forex-backed loans. And riders, banks' customers begin negotiation to liquidate loans on freeze-dumb account balances. And Naira rises to 1,220 to $1 as CBN sells Forex to Bureau de Change operators at $1,101. That is from The Punch. And of course, the picture here at the center is about the new kid on the block, a 38-year-old Mr. Marvelous Mobile, the new deputy governor of Edo State, being congratulated there. Another insert as him signing, appending his signature to everything necessary to make his confirmation official. But we wish him all the best. And then Obaseki swears a new deputy as Assembly sacks Shoaibu. It's good to know Assembly sacks Shoaibu. So it won't be like Obaseki sacks Shoaibu. It is what it is. Sultan declares Wednesday, Eid al-Fitr, 70,500 security personnel deployed. Mayfield returns to EFCC custody, faces fourth arraignment, April 25th. Total solar eclipse hit Mexico, US, and Canada. I was seeing some pictures about eclipse of something around your state and Kano State yesterday. I say, when I know allow person rest. All right. NNPCL faces $3 billion backlog on petrol payment report, and federal government may get $1 billion Afrexim Bank loan in May. EFCC probes 50 accounts linked to the humanitarian ministry. The way these things are put sometimes. I saw a headline that talked about 50 bank accounts linked to Beta Edu. These things are quite different. If it's linked to an individual, it's different. If it's linked to the ministry, humanitarian ministry, is different. But whoever is linked to or whatever is linked to, let it be proved accordingly. We've said it severally here, Evelyn. We don't really value media trial. No, do your work. That's my issue. I'm sorry to say this. Can you please get to the full stop of every investigation before you are releasing these informations, especially if it will impact the process? But it is what it is. Wike, Fubara feud, split PDP, 60 reps demand chairman's resignation. It seems all is not well again with the PDP at the national that is it. By the way, I think they're talking about the NEC meeting, the NWC, having issues, and the rest of them. That is all on the front page of the Punch today.
All right, from the Punch newspaper, we head on to Vanguard newspaper this morning. Wars for forex dealers as CBN cuts BDC rate to 1,117.5 naira to the dollar, and bans foreign-dominated collateral for naira loans. Analysts attribute naira appreciation to CBN policies. An incentive for forex malpractice eliminated. This is coming from APCOM. Well, it seems Mr. Cardoso's policies are beginning to yield positive results, and we hope that it will continue to yield results so that we can have a balanced economy. Away from that, we move over to more stories, more headlines on the front page of Vanguard. Okwama, March 14 killers war military fatigues. This is according to an eyewitness. And bandits kill 30 vigilantes in Niger as residents flee affected communities. All right, all isn't well in the north there. And all for cash loan, Nigeria to get $1 billion from Afrexim Bank. Idil Fitri, Akpabio, governors, others congratulate Muslims, preach peace, love. And in the world of sports, Paris 2024, Super Falcons battle Bayana Bayana for Olympic ticket. And top corner of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, Nigeria's inflation rates to remain high in 2024. This is according to World Bank. And remember that we have already crossed the 30% threshold. At this point, we're on 31% at this time. Al-Shaibu's quest to stop impeachment led to his ouster on Mobile 38, sworn in as new deputy governor. And Sultan declares tomorrow Eid al-Fitr. This is on page 26. And 2 killed as men in military uniform pick Jack Rich Eberi Papa. He was arrested by other security agencies. The police is saying that. And just for fun, Mr. and Mrs. Mr. saying, I am not one for office romance. It's just that I have a large heart. And there is a lot of space for people in need. And responding to Mrs. says, how come the space occupies only women with wide hips and big busts? All right, that's just for the laughs. But of course, that will be all from the front page of the Vanguard newspaper for today.
All right, interesting, large hat that Mr. has there. A very selective large hat. Yeah. Very gender sensitive large hat. Interesting one there. And we go from here to the Daily Trust. The Daily Trust newspaper. Shaibu becomes 17th impeached deputy governor since 1999. And it writers here, lawyers divided over constitutional leeway for lawmakers. Obaseki swears in 38-year-old engineer as deputy. By the way, excuse me, and deputy governors impeached in Nigeria since 2019 from the northwest, north central, southwest, and the rest of them is here. If time permits us, Akwa Ibom 1, Bauchi 1, Bayelsa 1, Edo 1, Ekiti 2, Enugu 1, Imo 2, Kogi 1, Lagos 2, Ondo, Osun, Oyo, Taraba, Zamfara all have one deputy governor, impeached one time or the other. Moving on, better do. EFCC recovers 30 billion naira. Investigate 50 accounts. NNPC faces $3 billion backlog on petrol payments. Sultan declares Wednesday Eid al-Fitr, and Zenith posts 677 billion profit for 2023. Whenever I see these, right, as good as it is that banks and companies are making progress, sometimes you want to wonder, do they see, especially banks in this case, all these huge amounts of money or profit that they declare, do they fathom what their customers go through? You know, is it really worth it? Some abysmal, I'm not even talking about Zenith alone. You know, talking about the abysmal charges, some hidden charges that are posted by some banks, the ease of their customers, and I think that's the main thing, ease of their customers having their issues sorted in minutes. In minutes. You don't have to spend hours. You know, I was at a particular bank, I've been there twice to just do something, and I've not gotten that thing to do. And you see people sitting on the floor. Because obviously you see that these banks, banking halls or these businesses are understaffed, they are understaffed. So they are just there, and some of their customers can even be very rude. They just tell you off like, okay, what have you come to do? We can't do it. Can you come back tomorrow? Or, you know, wait there. And then you see the headquarters posting billions of naira in profit, and you wonder the way businesses are being done in this. Just to fix an app, just to launch an app, you can't. You have to go there and do so many things, and it is not. So when they post these numbers, people just wonder, at what expense did you get some of these things that you're talking about? Top strip of the Daily Trust. Ahead of the NUEE meeting, PDP reps demand Damagun's resignation. That's the acting chairman of that party there. And CBN approves forex sales, BDCs at 1,101 naira. Salah, low turnout at markets. Why, Evelyn? Maybe you might have some answer. That's what the Daily Trust has for us.
We're in this country together. We all know what's happening.
Well.
But then I'm sure that will not still stop the Nigerians from celebrating. We are a happy people, irrespective of the paucity of resources.
Yeah.
We will still make do with what we have. So it might not be all that elaborate, but then in our own little way, we know how to enjoy, we know how to celebrate. Nigerians, we like to celebrate life. So far there is life, we will celebrate whether or not the funds or the money is there.
Yeah.
All right, we move on to the Nation newspaper at this time. Let's see what the Nation has for us today. And on the Nation newspaper, federal government deploy apps to monitor ministers' performance. Lawmakers' constituency projects for monitoring. And this is good. This is a good step and the right step in the right direction. And away from that, Guaranteed Trust gross profit is 609.3 billion naira. And on page 20, that's on page 25, on page 7, pension net asset value reaches 19.8 trillion naira. CBN steps up measures to strengthen naira against the dollar. Apex Bank sells forex to BDC at 1,101 naira to the dollar, using dollar as security for naira loan banned. Away from that, Mobile replaces Shoaibu as Edo deputy governor. And let's see. You know, the former ex-number 2, talking about Philip Shoaibu, saying, I will fight this illegality. Alleged $4.8 billion, 28 billion naira fraud. Emefiele pleads not guilty. Emefiele is still in the net there. Tomorrow is Eid al-Fitr. Sultan declares holidays remain today, tomorrow. I'm sure, you know, a lot of people would have wanted what happened some years back where the federal government had already declared 2 days as public holiday, hoping that the first day will be Eid al-Fitr and the people can use the next day to rest. By the end of the day, it came out that the second day was the day of the celebration. And the minister, the former minister back then, Ogbeni Rauf Aragbeshola, added one more day, and it made it 3 days. You know, I'm sure lots of Nigerians would want this at this time, but no, you've got just 2 days, today and tomorrow. Work begins on Thursday. Top corner of the Nation newspaper this morning, twisting LP, PDP crisis, protest at NLC Party. Damagun should quit now. An ex-TCN boss accuses agency of mismanaging $500 million. Olubadan, Obas give Ladoja where the crown condition for truce. Jimo Arms campaign team with APC membership register. Both stories you will find on page 27 of the Nation newspaper for today, and that will be all from the Nation.
Interesting headlines here, by the way. Olubadan Obas, just like you have read it, give Ladojas where the crown condition for truce. Interesting, by the way. I think this is long coming. And then, you know, we knew when some Obas, I mean, some high chiefs were, you know, crowned as Obas in their domains at the time. And it was, I think, the Osun Olubadan, that's Ladoja, the former governor of Oyo State, who, you know, stood down at the time that he would rather be the Olubadan instead of being Oba in a particular domain. Maybe this is the issue again. But then the elders will see what they have to see to. This is where we take a pause. At this time, we take this break. When we'll come back, we speak to security and, yeah, in Osun State. And at the other side of that, we speak to the development in the power sector. And we have critical stakeholders to speak to these issues as well. It's Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Let's inform you that we are live right now on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television and also on Star Times channel 190 DTT. We'll be back. All right, you're welcome back. And the conversation right now, especially this first leg, is about a release made by the Nigerian Police Osun State Command about the increasing attacks, you know, of dogs on the people. And in fact, let me just read aloud a part of what it said. The press release of Osun State Police Command rather, and they're using the medium to draw the attention of the members of the public, especially those rearing or breeding dogs, especially exotic ones, for guard, security purposes or otherwise, to the increasingly recent attacks on people by their dogs. And to this end, the police command enjoins members of the public to restrain their dogs in their houses, in cages, leashes, with a view to reduce attacks on people and further vaccinate these dogs in order to reduce the risk of contracting rabies virus, which can be deadly if these dogs happen to bite individuals. To shed more light into these, because many will say, do we have examples of these happening? Are there incidents which necessitated the release from the Nigerian Police Osun Command? We are being joined by the image maker, the PRO of the Nigerian Police Force Osun Command, SP Yemisi Opalola. Thank you for joining us, madam.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning. I'm so happy. I'm so glad being with you this morning.
Thank you very much. Very quickly, you signed that release, you know, on behalf of the command. And the question is, what necessitated that release? Do we now have, you know, multiple incidences of dogs attacking the people?
Lately, we have been able to record several ones that occurred. I think sometimes ago, sometimes last year, I mean, towards the end of last year, you will recall that we have a dog even eating up a child from the mother's back while she was going to somewhere, that a dog, I mean, attacked a mother that was carrying her baby. As if that was not enough, we still had, you know, several attacks after that. Even this year, we have recorded like 2 that happened, whereby dogs attack people while they are passing, even when some handlers were even taking the dogs out. Maybe they are taking the dog to where they are going to, to the doctor or whatever, like they said. They slip off the hands of the handlers, and they bite some individuals. In view of this, when we see that this thing is happening, incessantly, there's nothing we can do than to advise people on, the need to take very good care of their dogs. And some of them may not even know that there is a law guiding the rearing of these, pet animals. They may not know. And that's why we have to, keep them abreast of the extant law on the rearing of these dogs and what they should do. Because, that the security of lives and property is our major role, major responsibilities. We would not want anybody to be hurt, not even by dog. So that is why we feel it necessary, because of that, our observations, we deem it necessary that this should be held, and that is why we did this.
All right, good to know that you are for the safety of the people and that nobody should be armed either by dogs or fellow humans or the rest. But let me ask you, you are a law enforcer, because that's why the Nigerian police and other sister agencies are called law enforcement agencies. For people that stroll out with their dogs, and is it allowed that you take your dog off your compound and then into the street? Maybe, yes, on a leash, you are holding the leash, but there might be many persons who are not comfortable with such arrangement, who don't like dogs, who don't like those kind of animals, and, some might even have phobia for it. And sometimes the fear, you talked about exotic, breed of dog. Some of these dogs, the way they look, they are fierce, and it makes other road users, very uncomfortable. Is it allowed that you take your dog on a stroll, even if you have it on a leash?
This breed is often involved in fatal attacks.
Sometimes people do, but there are ways. When you are taking your dogs out, maybe just like human being, if you are not exercising them, sometimes it may lead to some, sicknesses or disease in them. But it is allowed when you put a mouth guard. Whenever you are taking a dog out on a stroll like that, you're supposed to put a mouth guard. If you put a mouth guard, you know what I mean by a mouth guard? There is something that they sell that is meant for the dog to be put in his mouth, like a keying, the mouth, so that even if it's even mistakenly stray, there is nothing it can do to anybody. It will just be looking, because the dog uses its mouth to bite. But when the mouth is, is already guarded, there is nothing it can do again. So you can, but what we are now telling people is that there is no reason why you should use your dog to intimidate anyone, to cause unnecessary apprehension to anyone or communities. You have to undo that's why we talk about the handlers. The handlers must be trained to know how to handle the dog very well. And most especially, I tell you and I repeat again, there is no way, anytime you want to take any dog outside your compound, there must be a mouth guard that is being fixed on the mouth of such dogs. And when you come back to your compound, you loosen the mouth guard, or when you want to give it food,
Doberman
using the mouth guard.
All right.
You
This
know,
breed is also used as a guard
dog
dog
used to
and a personal
listen.
protector,
Dog
as they are
hears.
fast, agile,
Dog,
and alert.
you know, if
They are
you
loyal and
don't
obedient to
know
their
how
owners,
to
but they can
train a
also be
dog
aggressive
or
and
to
fearless.
deal with a dog,
They need early
don't
socialization and firm
dare,
training
you
to
know,
control
rear
their impulses.
that animal at all. But
Mastiff.
if you have
This breed
a
is one of
good
the largest
handler
and heaviest
for the
dogs in the
dog,
world,
that is
as they
when,
can weigh up to
even if
200
when you
pounds
are
or more.
going, if you
They are
tell
calm
a
and
dog,
gentle
no,
with
if
their
you speak
owners,
to a dog
but they can also be protective
that this is
and
what I want you
territorial.
to do,
They need
it
early
will not
socialized. Top
intimidate
5 most
anybody
vicious dog
when they are
breeds in the
going.
world.
And
American Pit Bull
anytime you
Terrier.
allow your dog to
This breed is
stray,
often involved in fatal
without
attacks on
handling,
humans and other
stray
animals
out of your
due to their
compound, you have
powerful
committed
jaws,
an
muscular build,
offense,
and high
you know,
prey drive.
because
They
it
can
can
be
cause
loyal and
anything
friendly to their
in that
owners, but
community.
they need proper training
All
and
right,
socialization
SP,
to
you have
prevent
spoken
aggression.
about having good
Rottweiler.
handlers for
This
these
breed is
dogs,
originally
and
used as a
like you
guard
said,
dog
the
and a
dogs, they
herder,
have a
and they
language,
have a
and you
strong
must be able to
protective
speak
instinct.
their language.
They can be
But
very
are
loyal
you
and obedient
sort
to
of
their owners,
worried about
but they can
the
also be territorial and
spate
dominant.
of
They need early
dog owners that we
socialization
have now
and
in
consistent
Osun?
training
It's like
to avoid
every
aggression.
area you turn to, you're seeing
German
people
Shepherd.
with their dogs, and
This
not
breed is
just
one of the
you know,
most
those small
popular
dogs.
and
You have those
versatile dogs in the world,
fierce-looking dogs,
as they are
you know,
used
on
for
the
police
streets,
work,
walking with
military
them on the streets. Even sometimes these dogs just stray away on the street, or you know, move out of their compound. Are you in any way concerned or worried that people now are quick to purchase dogs based on different reasons? Some for security purpose, some for friendship, some just they think it comes with their status. You know, they think it's something I should have now that I'm a big boy or I'm a big girl. Your thoughts on that?
Yes, there are different reasons for rearing dogs, like we all have known. You know, some want to keep the pet, you know, for friendship, like you said. Some want to keep them for rearing, you know, for economic purpose. We have discovered that some people rear them to breed, you know, for breeding purposes, in order to sell, you know, to sell the puppies, even to sell the adults. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're with you.
And some, they want to keep them for security purposes. You know, many reasons for it. We know that. But what concerns the police very well, there is no law that is saying nobody should rear dog. Under the Dog Act, what it said there, you know, the Dog Act is in section 35 of the law of the Federation. It says that anybody that is rearing the dog should handle the dog very well and should not allow the dog to stray out of that person's compound. If the dog is still within your compound, you have not committed an offense. And why is in your compound? If it is not in the night, maybe in the night or when you have gone out and you want to release it, you know, if it is for security purposes, you know, it is when you want to sleep in the night or whatever, you losing it, so that anybody or any, you know, any attacker, any whatever that is coming to your compound or near your compound, that will be a threat to that person, so that they will not come to attack you. So if not for that, during the daytime, you are expected to put them in the cages. And if you know that you will not be around for a long time, to give them, there is no reason why you will not have somebody that will be handling the dog, even when you are not around for a long time. Because dogs have to be fed. They have to be fed like human being. If human being doesn't eat for some time, that human being will become very aggressive, even if you are talking to him or her. The same thing with dog. If you don't feed your dog regularly, you know, they are supposed to be fed on daily basis. If you don't feed, if they are hungry, they will look for other means of eating, and they will be so aggressive. You know, they are animals. They'll be so aggressive, and there is no other way where they will be able to vent their anger than to vent it on anybody or whoever they see. So, and the law also say that every dog must be vaccinated. You know, there are vaccinations, that is this anti-rabies vaccination, and which must be completed. It has certain, certain numbers that you have to, even from the puppy, that you have to give to the dog while it is giving birth to, and which must be completed. But we discovered that some people did not even doesn't even hear about, giving the necessary vaccination to the dog. What they are after is just the dog and what is going to give to them. And even if you don't vaccinate the dogs, you may not even get whatever you want to get from the dogs, because apart from anti-rabies, anti-rabies vaccination, there are other vaccines that you're supposed to give to, and other health care that the dog needs, so that it is living, among human beings. They will not suffer any loss or any problem. Everybody that is living with them will not, exercise any fear or apprehension.
Okay, SP, let me take you to one of the incidents that happened last year. You also, spoke about it, the much talked about one that happened in Osun, Hallelujah area, where a child was killed and the mother left with serious injuries. You said that if a dog attacks anyone, then it is an offense under the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Would like to get an update on that. Was the owner of those dogs prosecuted at the time? And
yes.
What is the situation as of now?
Yes. Because by that time we looked for the owner. We were able to, arrest the owner of the dog by that time, and he was, prosecuted in the court according to the law of Nigeria, according to the Dog Act.
Was he sentenced? Was he fined? Or was he given both?
I wouldn't know that. But what I know is that he was taken to the court.
Okay, yeah, because, it was a notorious case at the time, and it went viral. And, many persons would like to have an update on that, so that at least people will know that there are laws in the land and there are punishment when you don't do what you have to do. That's why we're asking for an update. It means maybe you're not keeping tabs with the case. Is that the situation?
I beg your pardon?
Like, we would like to have an update, because you said he was arrested and the person was being prosecuted. We don't know if it's a he or she, so that the people will know where the case is at now, and it will serve as a deterrent for people to know that we have laws in our land. That's why we're asking for an update.
It was he.
Okay.
It was he, not she. And I remember very well. But I don't give update on what I am not, too sure of, because I wouldn't want to give. But what I know is that he was arrested and was prosecuted, taken to the court.
All right.
But the update that you want to know, maybe next time when we have the opportunity, I will have gotten the full details of that.
All right.
So I don't lead the public.
Yeah. Fair enough. Evelyn asked the question the other time. I'd like to just give another angle to that. Some persons getting security dogs. Now, in this case, I'm being categorical. Security dogs, and very expensive, by the way, in many houses, and the case is increasing. Everybody just wants to put a dog in their house, and not for the commercial part, not for being a pet, but for security purpose. does that hint that maybe it's as a result of a deteriorating security situation in Osun? Would that be right?
Not in Osun, everywhere in the country, not in Osun. I would tell you categorically that Osun, even up till now, Osun is the most peaceful, most peaceful state in the whole country. The observers were able to come out with that data. So I'm not in Osun.
Yeah,
It's everywhere.
I know, because you speak for the
They breed
police
and
commands.
hear security dogs in Lagos, in Ibadan, in everywhere, in Calabar, in the north, everywhere.
All right, all right. Because if many persons will say we're in an economically challenged era, and so if people will still take their money to go and get expensive dogs to secure them or to serve as, as a security in their homes, maybe speaks to one thing, that they don't feel too safe, and that's why they have to take that measure. That's why I was asking that particular question, because some of these dogs don't come easy. I mean, they don't come cheap. They are very, very expensive. But we won't have this conversation or bring it to an end without asking this particular question, and it's an update. The last time we had you here, we talked about the menace of land.
We are on emotion to be able to arrest them, and we do the arrest and we prosecute a lot of them. But but it will surprise you that very soon they will be released, because there has not been any law that has been enacted, to that effect in the state. It falls on our judiciary that they should have a law, because if there is no law, there is no offense. If they have a law on that alone, that anybody that was omonile grabbing of the land, this person or persons are going to be, faced with this kind of punishment. If it is 10 years, 5 years imprisonment, I think it will be better. So that we will have...
Yeah, SP Yemisi Opalola, are you saying we don't have enough laws to deal with these menace? Because many people will say what it constitutes is a public nuisance, and then they attack people with intention to maim and to extort. So are we saying all of these things are not enough, or we still need a particular law that speaks to land grabbing?
I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. Please don't push me. Okay. What I'm saying is that in every offense, there must be a stringent law that is talking about, like I told you now, when I talk about dog, I talk about the dog act. Right. It has an act, and it has a punishment that is attached to it. It has what offense you can commit on it exactly. But this one is more than giving a kind of nuisance, being a nuisance or this. If you just being a nuisance, there's a mild, there's a kind of mild punishment for that, which if it is put on them, it may not be so harsh on them. All right. It may not be a kind of deterrence, to them. That is what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that they have not committed offense. I'm not saying that we cannot punish them, but I'm just looking at punishing them to the extent that they will know really that they have done something that is very, 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 very unlawful. That's what I'm talking about. All right. I'm not saying that there is no punishment.
Of course.
Like, I'm just saying something. I just want to say something like this. Like when they say somebody commit an offense, and they say for this particular offense, it's going to be 10 years imprisonment, for instance. Then they say they roam about an offense, and they say it seems it will be like this, and they can just go for 6 months. All right.
Okay.
Well, do you get what I'm trying to say?
We do, of course, but there's actually a law in the Constitution that talks about that, but it wasn't specific. That's talking to the forceful occupation of landed properties. But of course, we know that some states in Nigeria, like Lagos, Ogun, have gone ahead to make it specific to land grabbing, and I think that's what you're talking about. For Osun
That's what I'm talking about.
To also enact a law that speaks specifically to land grabbing and you know, the punishment that comes with it. But this is where we will like to draw the curtain. I mean, the conversation with you, Ma. Thank you so much for always coming through, coming to enlighten the public, coming to educate and inform them on the security situation in our dear state, Osun. SP Yemisi Opalola, the police public relations officer of Osun State. We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much, and happy holiday to you once again.
I'm happy. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I'll always be there for you.
We appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Okay, that was the first leg of the conversation for me.
Then we'll take this pause. When we come back, to speak about the elephant in the room, the power sector, the tariff hike, and stoppage of the payment of electricity subsidy, and matters arising, the different bands, the challenges bedeviling our power sector, band A, band B, band C, D, and E. And many persons will say maybe there is even band Q, some kind of bands that cannot be placed because of what they are getting. It's a serious matter. We'll delve right into it. That will be after now. All right, you're welcome back. And just like I said, we'll talk about power right now and recent development. Even before now, the power situation in Nigeria have been, abysmal, just to be modest with that. And many challenges, by the way, in that sector: generation, transmission, and even distribution. And we are not just getting it right. And it appears right now, Nigeria as a nation, more than 200 million people, we are hovering around 4,000 to 5,000 megawatts. Yesterday on the program, we said Egypt, and South Africa, these countries of lesser populations, are doing something more than 50,000 megawatts, each in their different countries, and they don't have our population. So what are these issues? Recently, the federal government said the tariff has been, we go up, especially for customers on band A. These are the premium. The guys here, customers you can call the premium customers, having at least like 18 to 20 hours of stable electricity per day, but then the situation is not always the same. This morning, we'll be speaking to a critical stakeholder to give us a sense of what he thinks is happening and what his association is, how they are responding to these matters and the reality on ground. I'm being joined, and we are being joined by Engr Biyi Adeyeye. Of course, he is the president of NUEE. NUEE is the National Union of Electricity Employees. He joins us live from Abuja this morning. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me this morning.
All right. Very quickly, you are a major stakeholder in this power sector. Give us a sense of what is happening. The government has come out to say, okay, tariff will be hiked, especially on the band A, with the band A customers. But many persons will say, apart from the band A, the electricity situation is not even good. Many band A people are even complaining, but the minister has come out to say there is no money on ground. As Minister Adeyeye has come out and said there is not enough money to provide for subsidy. The nation cannot continue to do that. There were suggestions from the IMF at a point that, you should just, the country should just take away the subsidy on everything, including electricity, so that it can save money, to take care of other things. You are the president of this association. What's the response of your association on this, number one? And then as a citizen, as a comrade, what do you think is happening?
Thank you once again. I appreciate you this morning and bringing this topic. It's a welcome development, at least to sensitize our people. First of all, I want to tell. We have to start from somewhere. First of all, to educate people. What exactly are we in the power sector? What is happening presently as regard generation? Before you can talk about of distribution, you have to say something about generation. And there's another interlink between the two, which is called transmission. You have megawatt being generated, you have another wheeling power from transmission, and lastly, you distribute. Presently, what is their situation? In Nigeria now, where you have over 200 million people, you are still dealing on less than 5,000 megawatts. And someone is coming up to tell you that they have enough megawatts to distribute to customers. Calling this one band A, band 2, band whatever. My brother, the question we should ask ourselves is, why is the minister advocating for the discos in collecting revenue? And which revenue are we collecting on low generation? We are only collecting money on darkness, the supply we are not giving to the citizen. Well, as a comrade, I issued a letter recently that this is not feasible, even to my members or my staffs, to collect this money from the public. The public that are not giving the exact hours of supply, it is not feasible for them to go out and say, you're collecting this money. At the same time, I want to tell you, this is a country where you have some set of people claim to be the owner of these discos, not injecting a single transformer even to their companies, and coming out to tell the government to help us collect revenue. That is what is not clear to us. You cannot tell me you are the owner of a company. I say going back to the government that sold the company to you to come and tell me, please help me collect money from the public. Who is the owner of this thing? Tell Nigerians, let Nigeria know. That is it.
Engineer, you're saying it seems something is fishy, especially as the federal government is the one advocating, for a tariff increase. That should have been a business of the discos.
That's exactly what I'm saying, my brother, this morning. I don't know why it is the business of the minister of power asking Nigerians that they cannot meet up with this, with that in terms of money connection in discos. And meanwhile, if you want to do this kind of a thing, that okay, you cannot continue funding discos again, of which we don't understand why you are still funding these people. If they are not competent enough to handle disco, let them leave it to those who can handle it.
All right.
In your agreement, when you sold these places to people, they told you they are competent enough to handle these places to give Nigerian supply. But unfortunately, today you discover that they are not doing this thing. Why can't you review their contract and let those people who can do it go ahead and do it?
All right, engineer.
The truth must be told. Okay.
Engineer Adeyeye, we understand, the angle from which you are, coming from. But then, the Minister of Power, Adelabu, has actually said that when it comes to the payment, what people pay, what Nigerians pay for power supply, for electricity in the country, compared to other African countries, is so low. And if we really want to make progress as a country, we must be able to pay for what we want to enjoy. Enough of subsidizing electricity, enough of paying so low and wanting to enjoy more. So you don't see it from his angle that we must actually pay for what we want to enjoy. Nigerians must be willing to part with what they want to enjoy, because electricity supply or power supply is not really supposed to be free, and it's not supposed to be cheap.
Thank you. If I may ask you, what are we enjoying? Can someone tell me presently that the so-called claimed band, hey, I enjoy 20-hour supply? That is not feasible. There's no way, there's no customer except you're ineligible or you're on a punt load from transmission. There's no customer presently that can enjoy 20-hour supply. I will tell you the reason why.
Go ahead.
Firstly, you have equipment that are not properly maintained. You have your lines that are faulty everywhere. There are issues where Nigeria presently cannot enjoy, apart from the issue of generation. The little you are generating, which is less than 5,000, around 4,300 megawatt that you have on the national grid presently, which is not even, you cannot, that one is not, you go on load shedding every day, you shed the A, you shed B, you shed every corner every day, and you are claiming that Nigeria is enjoying 20-hour supply every day. Where are they enjoying 20-hour supply every day? You can see them begging around now that the load shedding people are experiencing on band A, or the little supply they are experiencing less than 20 hours on band A, was caused by transmission. Passing back to transmission, the transmission people are not maintaining lines. That is what you are going to see very soon. And I want to tell you, there's no sincerity about this. I am deeply concerned about this issue of band A, band B. They should tell Nigeria what is exactly the meaning of band A, band B. Why are we having band A, band B, band C, band D? When you are giving supply of less than 4 hours even to band A, claiming that they are getting 20-hour supply. There's nowhere in Nigeria except that line is ineligible or is on punt load, which is directly from transmission. That's where you can get 20-hour supply in Nigeria. I know they did not do their proper consultation. If they have done their proper consultation, they will know that all these things are not feasible at the moment.
All right.
For instance, 12 years ago, my brother, these two companies, about 12 or 11 companies on this coast were privatized to different owners. Ask them today, what have they injected to this company? You have obsolete equipment, you have transformers of 60s, you have a lot of issues, your network is as bad as anything in this coast, and they are claiming they will give you. Hey, no. Just experience a rain in Osun State today and discover you'll be seeing falling poles everywhere. Little storms in Osun today, you discover that there's no maintenance in all our lines, especially on 33 kV. So it is not feasible at first instance. It's not feasible at all to enjoy 20 hours as being claimed.
All right, so Engr Biyi Adeyeye, we are pressed for time right now, but then I'd like you to speak to the government, especially the Ministry of Power, especially to the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu. What should he be doing at this time? You said the old band A, band B, band C, D, E thing isn't feasible and it's just a sham. But then what do you think the government should be concerned with at this time to ensure that Nigerians get electricity and Nigerians pay what they're supposed to pay for what they are provided, or they enjoy, rather?
Thank you. I think in this critical stage where we find ourselves, where our generation is below expectation, because it is just a thing of it's a shameful thing to have 4,000 megawatts on the national grid, where you want to distribute supply to above 200 million people in Nigeria. You try and do a proper consultation. Call the stakeholders to table. Where can we carry out this generation to be improved? You have from different places in abundance of generation where you can tap in from. When you look at the solar in the northwest, there are ways you can just go into that place and tap abundance of energy. Go straight to the northeast, where you can generate through the wind. You go to the north central, So also you can generate from coal, from coal from the northeast, I mean from the southeast. So also from southwest you can generate enough hydro. So also in Niger hydro. A lot of dams are there, hydro, and nobody is talking about that. Before you can talk of either increasing tariff at this critical stage, you first of all increase your generation. As I'm talking to you now, in transmission, they have above 12,000 wheeling capacity, 12,000 megawatt wheeling capacity. Yes. But we are talking presently about less than 5,000 megawatt at the generation. And you want to divide this to Nigerians and claim some people will be having 20 hours supply. And when they are missing it, they said it's for the rich.
But engineer, you don't think this is where the states should actually swing into action, because we know that the power generation, has been moved from the exclusive list to the concurrent list, so states can also generate power. But right now, the states are pushing it to the central, while they should actually be taking the initiative to make things work right for their own citizens, for their own residents.
The best way to go, if we have the states that are very serious now and have the capacity to do so, to take the opportunity to see how they can generate within their state. Yes.
All right.
I think
Quickly,
it's the best way to go.
Yeah. Comrade, your association, as the National Union of Electricity Employees, has said that that decision blatantly disregards the economic struggles of Nigerian workers, especially considering the uncertain minimum wage situation. That's in a statement released by the NUEE. And you are even saying that there should be immediate reversal of the recent increase in electricity tariff. Now, are you, putting this forward to the government? Are you seeking audience with the minister? What are you doing? Where does your association come in all of this, in as much as an electricity employee?
Thank you very much, my brother. We are deeply concerned. We are seriously concerned about this burden at the moment. Firstly, when you ask my members to go out and collect tariff from public, and those people that you're asking to go out to collect tariff are even being affected adversely. Situation whereby their take-home cannot even buy 10 kilowatt hour of electricity in unit. Before you have you want to buy 10,000 naira of watt energy in unit, you have about 160 kilowatts per hour. Now you're having less than probably around 40 kilowatts per hour. How do we cope from there? These are the issues we are facing presently, and it's giving us a serious concern because there's no two way about it. All effort to engage the minister about this has not given us the best result. We ought to have a meeting about a few days ago. Unfortunately, the meeting was cancelled. But the truth now is this. It is not only about our members. It's about the masses, about Nigeria, where you claim you want to have a new minimum wage or preparing a new minimum wage, and you came out again to bring about electricity tariff that will consume the minimum wage you are trying to prepare for Nigeria. Who does that? For the business owners, how will they cope? Yes, we are asking ourselves a simple question. How would they cope? How would they grow their business? How would the economy grow?
Engineer, sorry if I may butt in here. Your members work for different distribution companies, Ikeja Electric, Eco Electric, IBDC, Just Electric, many of them. Are you seeking audience with some of these companies for them, to rub mind with them, for them to see the reality of what you are talking about, if the audience with the government is not coming up?
We have argued this particular point severally. That is the fact. All the owners of these companies that you are mentioning are capitalists. And these sectors will collapse if care is not taken.
All right. So,
Like, for instance, you have some of my members who are well experienced, are not even given the opportunity to carry out their necessary assignment on the job. Imagine a technical personnel working on the field without proper logistics. And you are bringing some people from banks that are collecting transfer of what those people they met on ground collecting the same level, and nothing is being done.
all right.
And you want results. How do you have such results?
Yeah, comrade, I'm afraid we have to go. But it seems what you are saying that apart from the government angle, there is even problem within. There are challenges within your own employers, between your own employers, apart from the government. But in the coming days, trust us to have this conversation again so that we look into the whole matter beyond the issue of tariff, the real issues within our power sector, because any serious nation must fix its power sector if such a nation will prosper in anything called manufacturing and production. But I want to thank you sincerely this morning, Engineer Engr Biyi Adeyeye, the President of the National Union of Electricity Employees. Thank you for your time today.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Of course, obviously there are issues, even within.
Yeah, of course.
Apart from the ministry.
It's an ongoing
because he's talking about the challenges of some of his members who are being, maybe neglected in a kind of way, even when they have the experience, to the detriment of what they have always done. We must go.
We must go, but I must bring you this information. Earlier on at the start of the show, we said that today, tomorrow is public holiday, and I said that there was a time during the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari under the minister Rauf Aregbesola that a day was added when they realized that the second day was the Eid al-Fitr. And the press statement coming out this morning during the course of this program from the Ministry of Interior says that the federal government has approved Thursday, 11th of April 2024 as an additional public holiday to celebrate this year's Eid al-Fitr.
Interesting.
The Honorable Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, while congratulating the Muslim Ummah for a successful completion of a month of spiritual rejuvenation, reiterates President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's firm commitment to providing a safe and prosperous Nigeria for all that thrive. And that was actually signed by Dr. Aishatu Gogo Ndiako, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior. So congratulations to the workers out there. We will be here today, tomorrow, and Thursday. But you get to have some rest at home. And that's the size of the show this morning. Of course, you can watch the recap on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Western Spring Television. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei. Spring Trend coming right up.
I think at this point, I should pay more attention for whatever Prophetess Evelyn says. Yeah, you are just hinting.
Exactly.
And then before the show is over, the thing comes up. I need to ask you, who will be winning the Premier League come the end of the season?
Oh, we'll be winning the Premier League?
Yeah.
Liverpool. Oh, God.
All right.
That's not even a prophecy.
Femi Joe is my name. I'll see you tomorrow on this program. God willing. God bless Nigeria. Bye.